I liked it. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. They'll run with Hunt on 2nd down. And he'll get this down only to about the 46. The UCLA product, Kenny Young, had the tackle. And they'll need the 39 here for a first. This is 3rd down.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
A very solid gain of 27. Well, they're piecing together a nice drive to start this one. Seems pretty scripted and pretty successful so far.
And I think they did it without our help. Because you remember when we sat in the production meeting with them to talk about this, saying, hey, how are you guys going to come out of the gate? I know I offered my help with a few plays, and they didn't seem to want it.
I didn't offer mine.
You were the smart one. Whatever they're doing, though, it's working really well. Nice play there to force the incompletion. And to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, could be a lot. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Browns touchdown. Tony Pollard, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Browns take it right down the field and score on the opening drive. This crew, they were on a roll going into the bye week that they just had, Charles, so sort of picking up where they left off.
And you and I both know that when you come back off of an open week and you've been winning games, you should get a few extra days off in order to recharge and refuel. But coaches often hedge their bets, too. They'll bring them back and work them really hard that first practice back to make sure that they're back and grounded.
Whatever they did, formula looking good so far in this one. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone.
Let's go.
So look on offense. They'll have Lamar Jackson calling the shots, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Louisville.
And you and I both know that any win is a good win, and that's what they did last week. But there's also plenty for him to work on in his game, wasn't there?
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, an interception. Yeah, he wants to increase that a little bit in terms of ratio. But first and foremost, they did win the game.
Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask. Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
Blitz coming, and down he goes.
We talked about prior to the game, and it played out right there on the first play, didn't it? This offensive line is going to have his hands full all night long.
Now, you often speak of scripts to start a game. Does this mean that play number 2, they're going to go off the script a little bit?
Yeah, what's interesting is that most people, when they script now, they actually script those contingencies in, okay, in case they can't run the play they want to. It's long distance now. Let's go to that play.
Work to be done here on 2nd and 16 after the sack. This complete left side to Aguilar. He's at the 40, the 20, 10, and all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Nelson Aguilar, his 4th touchdown on the year. And the Ravens are an extra point away from tying the football game. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. This one fielded at the 5. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. And the confidence from last week carrying over to this week.
2 weeks in a row. And I have to admit, last week, I thought they were going to really struggle running the football. I thought that they had a real challenge on their hands, and they more than met it and created big-time openings. He just absolutely hurdled through, and they figured, why not? Let's carry it forward this week. Again, the same thing. All the blocking schemes are there. I think they've really done a great job. That B gap between the guard and the tackle has been there all game for them, and they continue to exploit it.
And he's just going downhill.
Not only downhill, but with incredible, incredible force.
And now it's 1st and 10. A big mistake, especially when you factor in the personal foul yardage. Play fake. Mayfield. He's got the hook up to Odell Beckham. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A good pickup there of 20 yards.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route. Drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
On 1st down, they'll run with Hunt. And he is going to lose yardage here. And that sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down. Bear in mind, that wasn't a big lineman back there for the tackle for loss. That was a cornerback.
So are you saying the myth has been shattered? That all of them are not just cover corners? Some of them actually will stick their nose in and tackle when necessary? That's what we just saw, isn't it?
He's got a man wide open. It's Landry. And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. 15 yards on the play. 1st down.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Cleveland. It's a 6-yard touchdown pass, and the Browns have taken the lead.
Brandon, my man, just one sentence for that one. Clinic.
And that's what they've done. They lead the league in points per game this season, but it's been quick strikeability as we saw on that drive.
I think they're actually intimidating defenses because they're back on their heels right away, wondering where it's going to come from, how they're going to hit them. This group is well organized, well coached, and extremely confident in what they do.
Extra point up and through, and that makes the score 14-7. A drive there of just 4 plays, and it ends with a touchdown for Cleveland. Brown now to kick it away after the touchdown. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And, Charles, if the season ended today, and it's not going to, we still have December left.
More football.
We're only in November. But they would be a wild card team. And that's great. They'd be in the playoffs, but you know they're trying to bump up to be one of those division leaders.
That guarantees you at least one home game in the playoffs, and that's what you're really seeking. But there also is...
There goes Mark Ingram. The 40. 20. 10, and all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Mark Ingram, his 2nd touchdown on the season, and the Ravens are an extra point away from tying the football game. Not a whole lot to recap on that drive. Just one play, 75 yards to the house.
Yeah, it's a long way to go. And remember, rarely is it a straight line 75 yards, too. Got to have a little extra in there. So whatever the final number is, a well-deserved seat on the bench, a little oxygen if he wants it as well.
This one fielded at the 5. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line.
Let's go.
Kareem Hunt and the rest of the offense making their way back out there. And he's sure looking like a lock for a 1,000-yard season. Don't know if he's going to get it in this game, but he'd probably like to just to get past that point.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, as you noted, there's still time, still opportunity. There's still more games to be played. So, yeah, it's not a lock, but barring injury, it certainly looks like he's going to get there. And what an accomplishment that is. Anytime you get over 1,000 yards, you're celebrated in the NFL.
It's been quite a season. Still a couple chapters left in that book, though. 19 yards to pick up there. Move the chains.
I don't care who you put on him. He's going to be a handful in one-on-one throws.
Yeah, right now, you're right. They're in man-to-man. Maybe needs some safety help.
I would say that'd be a good idea. Double-team him somehow. I'm going to have to make someone else beat me rather than let him shred my defense.
These two teams all tied after one. A first down throw from Mayfield. Throw left side, caught by the tight end Njoku. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his back.
And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down.
So this has been a lot like a tennis match, hasn't it? Back and forth. Both these offenses having their way so far. So maybe the question isn't who's going to score the most points in this game. Maybe it's who's going to get some stops.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sack, finally a first step in the right direction for a stop. 19 yards to pick up there. Move the chains.
Looked like the defense put pretty good pressure on him, but he's able to flush out to his right to try and evade people. On the run, had to get on his horse. Still accurately throws a nice pass for a first down.
They'll run on first down. It's Hunt. And he'll be dropped at the 23 after a pickup of about 4.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Running with Hunt here out of the shotgun. And he's dropped just before the line to gain. 4-yard pickup leaves him with 3rd and 1.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on run downs. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
Trying to run forward with Pollard. And he's going to have a first down here as he gets this one to the 17-yard line. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains.
That's about what you would expect since they're so efficient on picking up third downs in the top 5 in the NFL. It's all a mindset, and I'm guaranteeing you it started in the offseason. Third down's important to them. They find a way to pick them up at a very good clip.
First down, and it's Pollard again. And he'll take this one down near the 15. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9. This defense against the run, by the way, they're not top 5, but they are top 10.
So what's your philosophy here? Do you try and run the ball?
And that's going to be caught for a Browns touchdown. Seth DeValve, his 6th touchdown of the season. And the Browns have moved out in front. Sometimes those tight ends are a mismatch. They found the mismatch there.
And that's exactly why you want to draw up those types of plays, because coverage is just going to go to the natural guys, the guys that make the big plays on the outside. But if you work your tight end into it, that's a tough one for a defense to handle.
Tough. They couldn't handle it. It worked out for 6. Point after, up and good. And the lead is now 21-14. A 10-play drive that time. And it's capped off by the Browns touchdown. to kick it away. This one fielded at the 5. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard. And we shift our attention to Mark Ingram. At his current pace, sure looks well in line for it. I remember the 12-game seasons in the NFL. I say, man, it was a lot harder. Ingram churning. He lost the football. And this is picked up by the Browns. So the defense there, opportunistic.
It's nice to give them credit, isn't it? Because so many times it's more a matter of what the offensive guy didn't do. Didn't secure the ball, didn't cover up. In this case, let's just give credit to where it belongs. Knocked it free, made a big play.
And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 13 yards to pick up there. Good for a Cleveland first. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because they'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
And he will make his way back to where he started from, and that's all, as we will make our way to the 2-minute warning. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. The quick slant caught, and he'll take it into the end zone for a Browns touchdown. 4 yards on the touchdown grab, and the Browns add on to their lead. Now he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the second quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
Now the extra point try forthcoming. He's got it as they double up the lead. This one's now 28-14. So that drive, 4 plays. And it ends with a touchdown for Cleveland. Brown now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is taken at the 3. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. Mark Ingram now gears up to help lead this offense back out there. He's had it working pretty well here in this first half up until that last drive when he put it on the turf, Charles.
So I don't think they want to overreact to that fumble because now you've got a guy that's played so well. You don't want to take him and limit his effectiveness by worrying about it too much. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if we saw him next week at meetings. He'd have a football with him at all times.
Throwing on first down, it's Jackson. And nearly picked off. Surprising to see a defender of his caliber let it get away, but it does get away and it's second down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also third down. Jackson.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
Give him 30 yards there. Obviously, they're not where they want to be right now on the scoreboard. Big plays like that, though, that'll trend them in the right direction.
Yeah, a few more like that, they'll be right.
And now a fumble. The ball's out. And they're going to set up shop at the 27-yard line.
Whenever I see a team turn it over on back-to-back drives, fumbles on their last 2, I know one person's blood pressure who is starting to rise, and that's the head coach.
Absolutely. And when's it going to go down? When they stop fumbling?
When they stop fumbling and after he's assessed the game film, and only if they manage to win the game.
There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. A good job in the passing game, decent job in the running game, but really they've been more effective through the air. We'll see if that shifts at all as this goes on.
Thus far, it feels like they're calling this game in reverse. Normally you run to set up the pass. Here it feels like they're passing, hoping to set up the run and be more effective later on in the game.
Yeah, you can do it both ways. We usually talk about it in the reverse, however.
No doubt about it.
Throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete.
The positioning here is key. As a defensive back, you're taught 99% of the time, make a play on the football. But in this case, making a play on the man was all the difference. That's what forced the incompletion.
And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. Last play, they got stuffed at the line. Different story here, over 20 yards.
Boy, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. On the counter, Hunt. A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29.
He's tackled at the 29-yard line. 1-yard gain brings up 2nd and 9 at the 29-yard line.
And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the second quarter. So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. From the right hash, it's a 46-yard attempt. And this one is right down Broadway. And that will do it for this first half. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. We'll get back to you and Charles in a minute. But first, time to give the folks at home a look at what's going on around the NFL. We'll begin up north at MetLife Stadium over in New Jersey, where it was definitely a game with some intrigue, as you can see by the scoreline. Daniel Jones, 2 touchdown passes as his guys remain unbeaten. From there, let's head west to see what's going on with the Raiders at home in Oakland. And they were losers in that game as they fall to the visiting Kansas City Chiefs. Dalvin Cook, over 100 yards on the afternoon thus far with a touchdown run as well. Lastly, let's get to Pittsburgh. Check on the Steelers at home at Heinz Field. And it was the visiting Chicago Bears who come away with the victory. 24-16 was how that one finished. In the game you're watching has been Baker Mayfield with a strong first half. His 3 touchdown passes have his guys out in front as we hand things back over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is. Right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half, too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back.
There goes Mark Ingram. He's at the 40. Past the 20. And all the way in for a Ravens touchdown. Mark Ingram. His second touchdown of the game, his 3rd on the year. And the Ravens get a bit closer. That's the score you felt they had to have here in the third quarter to get back in this game.
And you know that there was an emphasis on their side. Hey, we know this. We know where we are. But sometimes that binds you up so much that you try too hard, you don't get the score. A perfect combination of urgency, yet relaxed enough to get it done.
This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. Kareem Hunt and the rest of the offense making their way back out there. And he's closing in on that number that all running backs circled beginning of the year, the number 1,000. Could do it on this drive.
And you have to think to yourself that this moment, getting to this spot, it started in the offseason, right? Not just the workouts, right? Not just getting yourself physically prepared to play, but mentally, as well as your team, as well as your unit, head coach, offensive coordinator. We run the football. We give you opportunities. He's taking advantage of it.
And when you get this close to the mark, you just hope things don't tighten up, right? You probably want to get there and get it in your rearview mirror.
You really do, don't you? Because now it becomes predominant, and you wonder about play calling as well. Do you want to call plays to get that out of the way, or are you still calling plays to win the game first? That becomes the burden of the play calling. I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy completion and a first down. Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. 11 yards there, first down.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball, protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. Now after the run by Hunt, here's first and 10.
Go, go, go. Hey, high 7. Hey, 40's Mike.
From the gun, Mayfield being chased out left. And he slides to avoid the hit. Same exact result as last play, a pickup of 11.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there, not there. After about the third one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
Mayfield down. And a big loss here as he's taken down. Tim Williams able to record his 5th sack of the season. And we say it all the time, have to be able to get rid of the ball sooner than that.
You have to help your offensive line out. They're going to protect you as best they can. And if you're getting 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball, they're doing a really nice job.
And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off by Marlon Humphrey.
Well, you were backed up into a 2nd and long, but instead of trying to get the yardage back in chunks, he's trying to get it all back at once. And this defense was just lying in wait, and they're there to pick this one off.
Jackson and the Ravens come up now first and 10 at their own 28-yard line. They run. It's Mark Ingram. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete.
Oh, man, that was close. The opportunity to change momentum, big play, right in his hands, unable to come down with it.
A sigh of relief, no doubt, on offense, that fell harmlessly to the ground. Lamar Jackson, such a threat with those legs, able to improvise and get the first.
We just saw a nice example of why teams often bring in baseball guys to teach quarterbacks how to slide in key situations. You want to protect your franchise guy. Make sure he doesn't get hurt. He did exactly that on that play. A perfect slide to avoid the big hit and pick up a first down.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Well, if these guys are going to chop into that deficit, they got to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. Jackson now. And he's got his man, Marquise Brown. And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. And they're able to convert on third with a solid gain of 23. Under a minute to go in this third quarter as they come up 1st and 10. Back to the running game. It's Ingram. And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. He lost 6 there on the first down play.
So where'd all that running room that he had in the first half go? Because it looks like it's drying up a little bit here. Someone made some adjustments, it appears, at least on this drive.
A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
Whenever we talk about the best strong safeties, one word constantly comes up, and that's instincts. Being able to diagnose run or pass and make the appropriate moves.
He crashed down hard there. And Andrews lost the football. And this is picked up by the Browns. One quarter remains here as we wrap up the week on a Monday night. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, but...
Oh, no, he lost the football.
And a little bit of good fortune there. He wasn't able to get it back, but he did have a teammate on the spot able to retain possession for them.
And he's going to have to protect the football and take his lumps here at this stage of the game as they stop him behind the line. Calling a loss of 2 on the play. And that's going to lead to a 3rd down. Oh, incomplete. Nearly the pick they needed. They would have loved one there, but at least it does get them to 4th down. Charles, thinking back to what you said in the first quarter, that part of the magic elixir for a road victory for these underdogs was going to be winning the turnover battle. Well, they only have one right now. Look at the scoreboard.
Yeah, not exactly playing to the form that I subscribed, right? When you talk about winning that turnover battle, that evens things out, especially for a road team, especially for a team that's an underdog.
And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on 4th. Mayfield. He finds Beckham complete. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Facing a 4th down, they come away with 18 yards and the first down conversion. Well, we looked at each other in surprise going for it on 4th down in the 4th quarter with a lead. But, hey, you get it as a coach. You look like a genius.
So the next time we see Coach, he's going to say, well, that's why I coach and that's why you guys talk up there, right? He had the guts to go ahead and go for it, and it paid off.
Nice work to get 7 out of that, and it's 2nd down.
Now, that was not a bad scramble there on 1st down. He didn't force it, nor did he throw it away. He was able to take off.
And he'll score. Touchdown, Browns. Taking it in from 11 yards out, and the Browns add 6 to their lead. He doesn't need a lot of space for an electric run. He showed that there. Heck, they told us this week they were hoping he would break a big one. He just did.
And what did his offensive... I mean, remember we talked with the offensive line? And one of the guys, one of the stalwarts said, I don't even have to make a great block for him. I just breathe bad breath on the guy in front of me. Often that opens up enough space for him to go.
Brown now to kick it away after the touchdown. This is taken at the 3. He'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And the turnover last time, that's sort of been symptomatic of their struggles here in this one.
Big word. I like it, though, because you're exactly right.
You like that, don't you?
All game long, they've struggled moving the ball, turning it over on the last possession. Is that word again, symptomatic?
Yeah.
I like that.
Your analysis, symptomatic of the success of this broadcast.
What I like is that you gave me the word, and I just kept using it.
Without the previous penalty, that would have been a first down. Instead, it's just a gain of 10. Decent start to the drive, but let's face it, they need a lot of things to go right in a short amount of time, down 3 scores.
Yeah, they're going to run their 2-minute offense here in this game, but this is for future games. Can they get better and be ready for the next time, hopefully with a chance to win?
4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. They're giving those short little routes, tackled him in bounds, too. They're just not wanting to get beat over the top.
Yeah, and if you can't really get downfield, take the short routes. But not.
And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. A critical one here if they're going to have any shot at this thing. So they'll go for it on 4th down. They'll try and throw for it with Jackson. And this is incomplete. The Ravens go for it but come up empty. And the Browns are going to get this thing back. Excellent field position. There's Baker Mayfield as he and the Browns offense comes back out. And it's been a good game for him to this point, Charles. They're winning on the scoreboard. They got to be feeling pretty good.
And it's always fun for them when they're not just winning on the scoreboard, but they're contributing in a big way. You see him throwing touchdown passes, watching this video here. It's got to be a fun time for him and a relaxed time because nothing is pressing.
Relaxed, cool, calm, collective, all those things describing him right now. On 1st down, Hunt. And he'll be brought down. Oh, that's a face mask. Certainly looked like it. Indeed, here come the flags.
Defense.
They're down here in the 4th, and that personal foul penalty is not going to help.
No, in these types of situations, players will tell you that's extra intensity. From where we sit, it's actually frustration. Not a good play.
Run.
On 1st and 10, Mayfield. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Cleveland. Odell Beckham, his 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Browns add on to their lead. And for them, this train, it just keeps rolling, doesn't it? Well on their way to yet another victory.
Yeah, it's almost a runaway, isn't it? And you just wonder how anyone could stop this. They got full momentum going, full confidence going. But it's not just their own confidence that's leading them. It's the lack of confidence against their opponents now because they see them coming and think, we can.
And now it's blocked. And now the Ravens get it. But he doesn't get far. They're able to stop him. And after all that, the extra point attempt unsuccessful.
Well, times have definitely changed on the PAT, on the extra point, haven't they? A lot more effort goes into this play from both sides.
Yeah, because let's face it, a lot of time on extra points, the effort is not what it is when you're trying to block a field goal.
No doubt about it. And before, when the ball was snapped on the 2-yard line, it was really a virtual chip shot. Now everyone believes they can get to it and knock it away, and we know how crucial every point is. So the defensive guys, they spend a lot more time trying to get that done, which means there's more pressure on the offensive guys trying to kick it.
We play to win. Let's go.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And this offense last time turned it over, went for it on 4th, didn't get it. They're lucky, though, because no points against the team on the board, but we'll see how they respond.
Yeah, they've got to get a lot of credit to their defensive teammates, don't they? They had their backs on that last series, and because they did so, that allows the coach to still stay aggressive on offense and maybe go for it again in a similar situation.
I was going to say maybe makes that offense feel good, but when you know you've got a defense making stands like that.
Yeah, that'll loosen up things a little bit, won't it? Maybe you'll play a little bit better the next time you have the ball.
An incomplete pass leads to 2nd and 10 from the 25. Now Jackson to throw again. And this is going to be caught. He won the fight for the football. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. It's a pickup of 17 and a 1st down. 5th catch of the game for him there.
Yeah, and the tight end position is now becoming a volume pass catcher. It used to be occasional, right, safety valve. throw one to him every so often, but mainly they want him out there to block. Nowadays, an integral part of the passing game, and they create such great mismatches that they often become the leading receiver.
So it's Raven football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Looking to throw again on second down. Jackson, and he'll get it down here to the 43. That one a first down pickup of 8. Here's Jackson. And he will find his man on the outside.
Holding offense.
That's a good chunk of yardage. It's going to be canceled out.
And we always talk about hidden yardage in a game. That's going to count as that because now it doesn't go on the books, but now they have to make that up again, don't they?
To throw is Jackson. Over the middle here to Brown. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. They'll throw on first down with Jackson. That ball's caught. Aguilar right side. And he's got this down almost to the 20 before he's dropped. Jackson, another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays. Another incomplete pass there. What do you take from this game offensively?
Well, you know it's tough to really analyze for them because it is a team game, right? And let's be honest, though. The defense did them no favors in this one at all. Offense actually moved the ball. So, bottom line, film session, defense is going to be a real tough one for them. Offense, they'll get a little bit of praise.
And a big loss here as he's taken down. Olivier Vernon coming in with some force for the sack that time. Now it's Jackson to the right side and complete to Hurst. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. And it looks like he'll be just a yard shy of the 5 here as he's out at the 6. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
All that practice time came to fruition on that play. All those timing routes that they work on through training camp, OTAs, minicamp, and just regular season, they got it done on that one. An outcut.
Jackson hit, and he lost the football. The Ravens on 3rd down. They've converted 4 times out of 6. Not bad. This will be 3rd and a mile. A big offensive explosion helped leading them to victory. And the defensive guys, they're just saying, hey, put those points up every week. We'll just keep winning.
They will gratefully accept them, won't they? It makes their job that much easier when they're scoring that many points. Allows them to...
So for the Browns, they keep on rolling 10-0 now to start the year. And they'll get to stay home again next week. Meanwhile, for the Ravens, it's a bit of a setback as they drop to 6-4 now. And they will try to get back in the swing of things next week on the road. That'll do it for us. I'm Brandon Gaudin.